Hello, my name's Trevor Coley, founder of Sontronics Microphones, and I'd like to introduce to you the Podcast Pro. The Podcast Pro is a dynamic microphone designed specifically for broadcast speech. So not just only podcasts, but any form of radio broadcasting, anything where you needed to speak into the microphone rather than to sing. What sets this apart from many other podcasting mics in the marketplace is essentially that the mic has been designed for speaking and not vocals. And what's important here is to discuss sibilants, the harsh S and T sounds that come through regular speech, and some people have them more than others. So if you're listening to an hour or two long podcast on a murder mystery or something, and you've got those sibilant sounds constantly in your ears, it can become really fatiguing and tiring. So this microphone is designed specifically to counteract those issues. Inside this body here, we have a sibilance filter, a specific material that we use that takes out these frequencies and smooths off that sound at the top end of the frequency spectrum. That helps you to listen to the sounds more comfortably and gives you that more sort of warm, rounded radio voice when you're making your presentations. In addition to that, we also have a pop filter internal inside this microphone. So this caters for the plosive sounds, the P's and B's that eject large forces of air and that can cause distortion into the diaphragm of the capsule inside the microphone. So with the Podcast Pro, you don't need to worry about having a pop filter in front of the microphone whilst you're speaking, especially like this on camera as we are now. So if you're a streamer, a YouTuber, or whatever, somewhere that's using a camera but wants that microphone to give you that extra sound quality, then this is where Podcast Pro really comes in. You'll notice here that I'm not actually speaking right on the microphone. And this is due to the fact that this mic specifically has a very high output sensitivity. In fact, it's almost twice as much as most of the other podcasting microphones on the market. So this means that you don't need lots and lots of extra gain or volume output to dial up that mic and get it working. Equally, it means you don't have to be right on the microphone, so you're not going to be hearing lots of mouth sounds and potential rubbing and friction against the surface of the microphone. So really important. It also helps keep the mic clean and sanitized, so something else you don't need to worry about. Very importantly about this microphone is that you're likely to be using it in a domestic environment, not necessarily a recording studio or a set-up radio broadcast studio that's acoustically prepared in an expensive setup. So around you will be life sounds. You might have the washing machine on or the dishwasher. You might have somebody mowing the lawn outside. There's stuff happening around you in the environment. And you don't want this microphone to pick up those sounds or at least reduce them to a bare minimum. So what we talk about here is the off-axis response of the microphone. That is anything that is not in the front of the grill here. So the sides and the back. Podcast Pro is class leading in its rejection of off-axis sounds and frequencies. So to give you a demonstration, if I step away from the front of the microphone, you hopefully will hear a significantly lower sound than if I come back on axis here. And that increases over distance. So if you step further away from the microphone, those sounds reduce and diminish further still. To the point where, for example, you could be sat across a table from someone in a cafe or a small home suite, for example, across the dining table or coffee table, and each have a microphone and enables each of you to talk whilst having the mics both live and not spilling your voice into the other person's microphone and vice versa. So you're hearing everything you need to hear, but less of what you don't want to. Importantly, with Podcast Pro, it's designed to be light. And this is really important when you're putting the microphone on a stand that is like this, so a boom stand or a scissor stand. You may have bought an inexpensive one of these online, and if you put a heavy mic on it during the session that you're doing, the weight of a microphone could actually bring it down. The Podcast Pro weighs little over 300 grams, so it's light as a feather, but has this super high output and super off-axis rejection, and incredibly portable. On this particular microphone, you'll see this stand here. This is the Sontronics Elevate stand, the boom arm. This is made from aluminium extrusion. It has no springs, so no vibrational sounds that are going to come into the microphone from a desk. Say, for example, you're typing on the desk and basically running a script, for example, during a session. There are channels for the microphone cable, the XLR cable, to run through, so it keeps things nice and clean, so the desk space is kept clean and tidy. It has a couple of articulated arms here which move the microphone into lots and lots of different positions. So you've got lots of flexibility. And there is an optional boss here which is part of the package, but it enables you to either drill into the desk and have it as a permanent setup. So you could have the mic stand in the middle of the desk set up here, or the clamp that we're using at the moment that will fit up to a 60 millimeter depth of surface. So really flexible and straightforward to use. Now, in addition to this, you may be wondering, how do I get my sound into my computer? So some of you may already have an audio interface which enables you to plug an XLR to XLR cable straight in and straight into your computer. Some of you may have been used to using USB microphones in the past and have been frustrated by the fizzy sound quality and the extra noise that those can often produce. The Podcast Pro is the ideal choice as an upgrade here because we offer a pack called the Voice Casting Pack. This not only includes the microphone and the stand, plus an XLR to XLR cable, but furthermore, it also includes the Sontronics USB to XLR cable. And this facilitates the plugging in straight into the back of the microphone and then a USB-A connector directly into your PC or your Mac laptop, for example. And this gives you an amplification boost just like a USB mic, but without all of the extra processing and signal processing that can bring additional noise. You then essentially have a broadcast quality USB mic setup. You'll be pleased to hear that the Podcast Pro comes in 7 colors. We have red, black, purple, gold, green, blue, and cosmic gray. So you all have the choice, something that will suit you. Importantly, all of these microphones, the Podcast Pro, the Elevate stand, the USB to XLR cable, are all available here from Mannys and Store DJ. Thanks for listening.